Hi, and welcome to the Ada K Show. I am Ada K. Brown, and am currently a criminal justice major, and I'm a deaf courtroom commentator. Grab a cup of Java, and let's dive in.
Hello, hello. Oh, my lovely. No, I'm not Alan Jr. I apologize for that. I got to get that off of there. Wow. I forgot I had to do that. I hope y'all are feeling well today. I have a young man that comes in and does his lives off of out of my studio. I share my place. I bless him. How is everybody doing today? There we go. Got that off. Good morning, Miss Amy. Angela. Oh, sunny day. Tash. Daryl. Hi, honey boo. Yes, my honey boo is on. June, thank you so much for liking and joining. All of you, thank you so much. Appreciate you. I am in my Perk Me Up shirt. I got my coffee, and we're going to start something new this week. We're going to start having a weekend preview where we look a little back and more forward into the upcoming week and what's happening. So, thank you guys so much for joining. Well, we've had a lot going on last week. The ex-Pone star actor killed celebrity hairdresser in the Monica Sementilli. Oh, we did, y'all. Oh my gosh. Yep, the largest was the size of my hand. It was really bad. So, in the Monica Sementilli trial, the ex-Pone star boyfriend testified last week, and that was very telltale. Quickly, Fabio Sementilli, 49, was stabbed multiple times in the backyard of his Woodland homes, where he was then found undeceased by his, I think, 16-year-old daughter at the time. He was found January 23rd. He was watching TV. The 49-year-old Canadian hairdresser and executive known as Big Daddy to his friends and family was attacked from behind. He suffered several stab wounds to the neck, chest, and thigh. His femoral and carotid arteries were cut. Prosecutors say his wife, Monica Sementilli, was a cohort and helped plan the unaliving of her husband with Robert Baker, a convicted ex-offender and ex-Pone star actor turned racquetball instructor. He's the one that killed Fabio, and they were going to share the $1.6 million of life insurance. Now, Baker has admitted to the unaliving. He took the stand and he told LA jury that Monica had nothing to do with the red room of her husband. Do we believe that? No, we do not. Quote, I red room him because I wanted her. End of discussion. She had nothing to do with it, which we don't believe. Baker entered into a no contest plea for the unaliving of Fabio. He is serving a life sentence without possibility of parole. Now, then prosecutors allege Baker and his accomplice Christopher Allen, both wearing hoodies, jogged up to the home, did the deed, left with Fabio's Porsche. They removed the DVR from the garage and the home security footage from the property when they fled in the 2008 Porsche 911, which was found abandoned a little later that day. He originally pled not guilty, but then he changed it. Everything he did, he did after he got a text message which told me he was talking to her via the phone, Austin said, the co-conspirator. I did not hear him talk to her on the phone, but everything happened in that sequence. So long story short, that's where we sit in Monica's trial. Right now, Austin is back on the stand. And Austin is basically, they're trying to impeach Austin at this point. Hey, Haley Mouse. We do have some new stuff popping in the Karen Read. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But before we do, we gotta give a shout out. I always love doing my shout out. Thank you, As the Gavel Drops, for being a partner in crime with us and providing all the fabulous documents from all the court cases we follow. If you are interested in reading these and diving into it yourself, go to your Discord, go to As the Gavel Drops, sign in, register, and validate your account so you too can read in private what we have here live. Have you seen the Brennan wants communication between Karen and Yannetti? Yes, I have. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Hell no, we won't go. So now let's talk about our fabulous Karen Read. I'm not going to go through all the documents, but I'm going to tell you what documents dropped last week. Commonwealth opposition to defendant's motion to eliminate to allow evidence of lack of bias. Basically, contrary to the defense repeated representation in court, the public, the final jury, the employee of ARCA LLCs were and not impartial nor biased. So this is pertaining to the ARCA. Anti-Bev did allow ARCA to come in. Norfolk County appellate court, read the motion, stay. Oh, we don't want to talk about that yet. That's down here. Sorry. My bad. I got out of order. 17, 21, 21, 21, 21, 2018. There we go. Then we got a note, and I'll put it up here. I want to talk about this note for a second. We read it, but we didn't talk about it. And I want to talk about it because this isn't it. Yeah, that's it. Share. Okay. I am still struggling with this crud. And I'm sorry, but I'm doing the best I can. This concerns me. On March the 20th, it was filed in the clerk's office that this note, unsigned, anonymous, was sent to the courts, actually to the judge in the courts. Dennis something, Selu, not Canoni, talking about the corruption in this county, Canton PD, MSPD, Michael Morrissey, and his employees, and Judge Bev Canone. I appreciate people speaking up, but if you don't sign the note, which will scroll down to the bottom, it is not signed. It says the most corrupt case. This is also written, reminds me that paper that was written possibly from a jail inmate. I don't know, because they write on these kind of note tabs, and this just looks like a lot of their kind of notes. That note Angela, what do you think about that note? I just find it very perplexing. And why? Why? It just keeps saying over and over that they are corrupt, talks about not securing the crime scene. I was doing fine until I got on. Oh, let me get a couple of nerds to wake me up. Oh God, those are so sour. Sour. So this note was written. We're not going to go over it in detail. If you'd like, go to Discord or Absolute Gavel Drops. They have it there. Well, yes, I agree with you. I'm just saying that's what it reminds me of. If it was sent from a jail, it would have a person's name, their CDI number, whatever it is, and the jail and all that up here. It has to be up here. But what I'm saying is that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of a jailhouse note. So I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear. Definitely reminds me of a jailhouse note. Okay. So then we go and we get to a Department of Police personal order. Dishonorable discharge of Michael Proctor. Yay! That happened this week. He was dishonorably discharged, rightfully so. And I wonder, now that he is not gainfully employed and or under the protection of the department, he's on the witness list. That can make him fair game. I think that's something he should think about, because the problem I think he's going to have if he's called to testify is perjury at some point. And I don't know. I wish he would, but I don't think he will. Possibly, but in my heart of hearts, I don't think he will. I think he is. I think if he did, it would destroy so many people. He wouldn't have a soul left on this earth to call friend, in my humble opinion. Then we had another motion filed on the 20th, I believe. Undersigned counsel, honorable whatever, court pending the resolution of the First Circuit Court. So they appealed the First Circuit Court's decision. Then we had District Morrissey come in and show this week. There was a video. What are they calling that video, Angela? I forgot. But it was filed in district court via email from Mark Edbro's office. Dear District Attorney Morrissey, we're writing response to Canton Chiefs PD Rafferty's letter to you. Oh, the hostage video. In response dated March 10th, requesting that Canton PD investigate alleged violations of the town's selectman, Christopher Albert. So that was filed. And then on the 21st, Canton Police Department referral to request for criminal investigation allegations against the Canton Select Board member, Christopher Allen. Let me blow that up. I don't know if we read this, actually. I don't think we did. It doesn't seem like we did. I don't recall this. Let me get it embiggened. To me, it doesn't seem like we read this. Let me read this for y'all. Please be advised, a letter March 10th was addressed to me in my capacity as Chief of Police in the Townsend Town Attorney Mark Bedrow. As you know, Attorney Bedrow represents Aiden Carney. In this letter, Attorney Bedrow requested the Canton PD commence a criminal investigation in connection with the incident reportedly occurred March 4th of 24. Okay, yeah, we did know about this. Mr. Albert currently serves as a member of the select board. Given the nature of the relationship between my position and the select board, I'm concerned there may be a potential conflict of interest and an appearance of impropriety if I or other members of the CPD were to commence such criminal investigation into the allegations raised against Mr. Albert. Based on the existence of potential conflict of interest and to avoid the potential appearance, I am respectfully referring Bedro's request to an investigator. So that is going to be interesting. Now, right. Now there's a conflict of interest. That's right. You're right. Now there's an interest. Then we had an appellate issue of motion to stay proceedings pending the appeal. Now, we're going to quickly go through the motions, and I mean quickly because I want to get into this week. We had motion 604 hit this week, and I'll go ahead and share that. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. Yep, that's true. That is true. That's true. They can. That is part of their job is to select put her on as police chief. The defense motion to impound Exhibit 1 and support the defense motion in limine, exclude the testimony of the Commonwealth's witness of the Justice of Judson Welchmer, PhD, MG for the voir dire. So that was brought up. And I'm going to really go through these quickly, y'all. So please forgive me. Then we have the Commonwealth's motion eliminated to exclude expert testimony of Garrett Wing. That was 607. Then we have the motion eliminate to exclude the expert Michael Esther on the Commonwealth. Then the Commonwealth wants to a motion eliminate in a 609 to exclude the testimony of the Commonwealth's witness, Justin Welcher. So we have a lot of testimony that they're wanting to exclude. We have the Commonwealth's motion for buffer zone. I get it. That's going to happen. Auntie Bev is definitely going to throw that in. Sorry, guys. That's going to happen. Defendant Karen Reed's list, it has changed. Witness list was posted. Then we had on 613, the defendant's assistance to motion ascended to motion to continue trial on a date on or after the 25th of April. And we're all screaming, no. We'll get to that in a minute, love. Here is, we also have is this a Commonwealth's witness list, which has already been amended. We also have the Karen Reed Memorandum of Desertion and Order, Commonwealth motion records from the docket. We also have a motion for protective order, number 617. Y'all, Commonwealth is going crazy. Number 618, Commonwealth's motion for all text and everything between Karen Reed and David Yannetti, because they're saying that because she went public on the Max and Netflix, that they should have a right to all their communications because she made it public in those shows. Then we're on motion number 619, the affidavit of Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan in support of Commonwealth's motion to the non-privileged communications. Then we have a motion of record number 620 for the unsolved production. So they're saying, hey, Commonwealth requests, blah, 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 that they're ordering the keepers of record to produce to the court the unedited video and audio recordings of the company, the production company, and it was so ordered. The affidavit in support of that was 6 number 21. And then the last but not least for this week, the jury questions. And that is where we're going. That is where we are going to. Oh, by the way, Honey Boo, I don't know if he's on. He's at work. But he was trying to hang the TV and he used all the proper tools, but unfortunately, the drywall is this place is so brittle, so brittle, so brittle. And this place was so wonderfully um done that the studs are not even where they're supposed to be. I just love it when that kind of thing happens. They're supposed to be 18 inches apart and they're nowhere near it and they're inconsistent. So I'll have that up here and I can sit here and look at you and read things from here. It'll be awesome. Why is, oh, I did that. That was my bad. No wonder I felt lopsided. Focus. Come on. There we go. All right. Would you like to join our live, my love? You can come on with me if you'd like. You may come on. I want to talk about this jury form. I want to go into that. Let me send this to her just in case. You don't have to, Boo, but if you want to, your invite is there. Somebody sent me something. Hold on. New mentions. Live stream. Yeah, member chat. Good morning, everybody. Do we have any new Karen Reed downloads? I'm looking. Because anything that's new today, we'll discuss this week. So, what is this week going to look like? I got to be honest, this week is going to be a little different than normal. I did get today's motion, appellate motion. It is 7 pages. We will be reading that in a minute. That is something that came down today as well. All right. Get that up here. But we want to do jury form. I want to do jury form. Yeah, I know, right? I know. I was wondering where my phone was. I couldn't see what I needed to see. Who called? I will be starting on some of my streams, opening up the lives. Oh, thank you, honey. So, anyway, so I am. Why does that come up with his name? Oh, that's why. So let's dive in. The week in review, what we're going to start doing. Excuse me. Okay. So this week, I'm here for this today. We're going to do a little bit of this today. Why aren't you working with me? Add stage. No, wrong one. That one. Tomorrow is Tuesday. We have Karen Reed tomorrow. And then Wednesday is my birthday. I'm going to be out all day with my boyfriend. But sometime Wednesday night, we will do a birthday live and have some fun. I do want to do that Wednesday evening. And then Thursday, we'll come on and I don't know what we'll be doing because we don't really have anything until Friday. So probably Thursday will probably be my let's get ready for Karen Reed next week. So we'll do some more Karen Reed, and we'll share whatever we need to share. This is going to be a light week. I got so much to get done here in studio. I'm going to be taking some time off to get that done. And I hope y'all are okay with that. Okay, so let's go and start reading this questionnaire. And I wonder how many of these I could say yes or no to. So I got my tablet, I got my pen, and we're going to keep track of how I would answer this. Oh, there she is, y'all.
Hello.
Hola.
I have a tablet. Let's answer these questions.
I know. So I'm going to answer these questions like I am actually a juror. And I want to see how many of these questions and how I've never done one of these. So I thought, why don't we answer it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Let me just start a new note.
But what I'm going to start doing is on Mondays, do a little show just where we do a quick what happened last week and what to expect this week.
Oh, next week it is gonna be well, maybe not next week. Depends on how long it takes them to pick a jury. But once they pick a jury and start a trial, that's gonna be a fun Monday.
Mm-hmm. I have to say, aside from eating his candy, I still have that bad cough. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all. Somebody shopping.
Oh. Oh. Did I tell you that I became an aunt like a month ago?
I remember it was like the day after. Yes.
Yeah. And my cousin, I wish he will send more pictures, but my nephew is so cute, and he's like a month old now, and he has so much hair. Like seriously, that's everyone I showed. I don't send pictures, but I show picture because he asked to not send or post pictures. But a few people, the friends that I show, he's like, that's a lot of hair for like a baby so young, you know.
Private me. Can you private me?
I can try. Yeah, I'll do it.
Private me, and then I'll delete it. But there's a lady I follow on Facebook. She's Jewish, and it's like a life in the day of Orthodox Jew. She had this baby girl whose hair at birth was so thick when you part it, you couldn't see the scalp. And it's like that long. It's
I
like,
think we follow the same person because I think she has like 5 kids,
5
right?
girls.
Yeah, 5 girls. Yeah, we follow the same girl. Miriam is her name, right?
Miriam.
Yeah, we follow the same girl, same Instagrammer.
Oh,
Yeah, I agree. That baby has a lot of hair.
Yeah. Oh, I could bring it up, but I'll do it later. All right.
Let's answer these questions.
Yeah. Can you do one while I finish chewing this?
Okay, it is alleged that on January 29, 2022, while intoxicated and operating her motor vehicle in Canton, Massachusetts, the defendant, Karen Reed, killed her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, an off-duty Boston police officer. Is there about the
change it. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm going to make it smaller. Let me adjust it just a hair so we can read all of it and not have to do this wiggle room stuff. I'm trying to manage this and our believe. Let me make you.
Okay, I can open it on my phone, then I can read it from my phone.
But I still need to do this so everybody else can read.
All right.
Say Flavia. Okay, there we go.
Is there anything about the description of the case, the charges, or that the victim was an off-duty police officer that causes you to believe that you cannot be fair and impartial in this case? My answer is no.
No. But let's talk about that. The problem I hate with this is people say no, and then they get into it a little deeper, and they're like, well, I had someone die in my family who was hit by a drunk driver, and I thought I was okay, but I'm not. I have seen that happen.
You know what bothers me and what she said in documentary, but is actually a known fact, especially if you see Massachusetts State Police X account. They post this like DUI checkpoints where it is or where it was, and it's all over Massachusetts. But guess one county where it is not? Canton. And people comment, please do it in Canton, please do it in Canton.
I say that again.
On X, Massachusetts MSPs post like where the DUI checkpoints are or were, as in after the fact, and they are like all over Massachusetts, but they are not in Canton, not last X checkpoints. And Karen said in the documentary, it's like everyone drives drunk in Canton. Or maybe not drunk, but like drinks and drive, you know.
I believe that Canton is, I feel bad for the people living in Canton, the good people, because they have to live with these out of control, alcoholic, police enforcement officers who are hypocritical. I just, it just, I would move after this case. I'd be out of there after all this. Okay. So I was no, you were no.
Yes, I was no.
Have you already started to make up your mind about this case?
Yes.
Now let's step back. Let's step back. We're answering it as if let's put some parameters. We've heard about it on the news. We didn't follow the trial in court like we did, like every day. You really don't know enough about this other than just a little rumor mill. Okay. We can't answer this the way we would now because we definitely wouldn't be on the jury. So let's put the parameters that we've only seen news blips, a little blurps. We've heard a few comments. What do you think?
I would still say yes, because I have seen enough especially in the documentary. I have seen enough that if I didn't watch the first trial, I would still say yes, I made up my mind.
Well, see, I'm coming from it for me. I haven't seen the documentaries. I haven't seen the first trial. I haven't seen all that. I've just seen things in the news. And in my mind, I'm innocent until proven guilty, no matter how you slice it. So I'm going to put no. I've not made up my mind at that point. And then I'm going to put in parentheses, yes.
Okay, if you put it like that, but the thing is, I have followed the thing is, I have followed this case from day one, more or less since it happened. You know the courtroom, the confidential YouTube channel. I found out that he's a friend of as the Gala drops. He had RA recovery addict as a guest.
What was his page again?
Courtroom Confidential.
Okay.
He is also a LA lawyer, he worked with Alan Jackson. He actually worked in the office with Alan Jackson. Then he worked in the same. Then Alan Jackson went private, and they worked together in the same office as private lawyers. And then he went. I think he started his own firm or something like that. So he has first hand knowledge of because he worked with Alan Jackson. But
See, you're not in a position that you can put yourself in the place of a
I'm
juror.
not.
But I am.
I would definitely not.
Honestly, I'll answer it like I'm a juror, like I know nothing. Okay, but that's
unfortunately
that's
because
fair.
I have how long I have followed this case. I am unable. I have I'm like OG person of this case.
Gotcha. Do you have opinions regarding for you previous
Yes.
experiences as a juror and the fairness of the jury system or criminal justice system in our country that would impair you or your ability to be fair and impartial to both the Commonwealth and the defendant? No, I'm good.
Me also no.
Do you have any religious philosophical beliefs that will be difficult for you to follow the law and come to a verdict in this case?
No.
No. Do you have any religious or philosophical beliefs that would make it difficult for you to be impartial?
No.
The case expected to garner a significant media attention. Is there anything about the high profile nature of this case that would prevent you from serving a fair and impartial juror? No.
No.
Because I shouldn't be watching it.
Exactly. And stay away from it.
Yeah, right. Do you or any family members or close family reside in or conduct regular bases in Canton? No.
No. I have never even been to the US.
I know, right? Would you automatically believe or disbelieve a law enforcement, firefighter, first responder simply because of their occupation?
Not sure.
That there is a good question. And that is because some people believe you got a badge, you're believable, no matter what. Or they believe the opposite. You can't trust anybody with a badge. You can't. There's a lot of people of ethnic backgrounds that have had a lot of bad experiences or family have. And so they're very weary of anything that first responders, police, if you have a badge, they're not going to believe you.
I mean, there is not belief or not belief. There's also what information you have. Sometimes it's not that you're not telling the truth or you're lying. It's what you have you interviewed the witness. You interviewed some of the witnesses and you testify in court on what you got from these witnesses. If some of those witnesses didn't tell you the truth or misinformation or then you just testify to what you were told. If that's true, I mean, you couldn't have known that at the time. You just tell what you know, and that's.
But this here is about. Do you have? Have you ever? Oh wait, where is it? Would you automatically believe or disbelieve any officer or law enforcement?
I'm still not sure.
You that would make you feel that you would always believe them or always disbelieve them? Hi, Chris. Hey,
I'm
Dawn.
still depends on the situation and depends on what's going on. So
you would put not sure.
Yeah.
Have you a strong personal belief or have you been exposed to any strong personal beliefs from friends and relatives about law enforcement officers, prosecutors, or the government?
No.
All right, guys, I call this question a BS.
I called it too because
Everybody has had someone tell them a strong personal opinion.
especially in the US, you guys love your politics. Seriously. I mean,
Nah, don't put
there is something going on in Serbia right now. We are not going to talk about politics, but there is something going on in Serbia, and I am trying to be as neutral, as politically neutral as possible, because I don't want to give my opinion, nor am I interested in even going into what's going on. And you have no idea how many people have tried to get the information out of me and to talk bad, good, and anything in between. So I'm like, seriously, can person be politically neutral and just don't give a beep about politics, government, and what's going on?
I think for Americans, it's hard. There are a lot of neutral people until it's election for president, and then people take sides. There are a lot of people who only vote for presidential and they don't vote for local or state or federal, whatever. But I think because of what our country is based on and how it came together, that we're a political country and that we have a right to freedom of speech and we're going to give it to you whether you want it or not. And
Tell that to Commonwealth, please.
yeah, well, sort of. But I have no problem if we want to have a conversation of politics, but we must agree to have a conversation on politics. Otherwise, I don't want to hear your politics. And I'm not going to give you my politics. And, I'm good for debate sometimes, but you will never hear me pushing politics. But it is true. Have you a strong personal belief or have you been exposed to strong personal beliefs? Well, I have some strong personal beliefs one way or another about our sheriff department. What it was before and where it is now. It's changed. But I had some very strong beliefs, but I didn't share it unless it was in the company that I felt comfortable talking about it. But everybody in this country has been exposed. We all have been exposed. So, number 9, I'm going to put a yes.
I'm gonna put no because I've been exposed, but I have learned to ignore it. Seriously, a few days ago, my dad was watching TV. I was eating breakfast. I was eating dinner, and he was watching to something. I completely tuned out TV. I did not hear a word they said.
Well, but here it says, have you been exposed? Not whether you believe it or not. That's why
Okay, then yes, unfortunately. But I
okay,
am.
not whether
I
you believe
tuned
it
out.
or not, just were you exposed? To me, this is not a fair question either. And I agree. Question number 7 is not fair. You, family members, close friends reside or conduct business in Canton. They want to make sure they live in Canton. That's a normal one, but I get it. Number 10, have you ever been involved in a group, community, or individual activity showing support for law enforcement or in or outside your community? I show it every day in my fact that I'm an emergency services chaplain. But I think what they're talking about here is more of a political support, like support justice for John O'Keefe picketing. So I'm going to put no on that.
I'm no too.
Have you ever been involved in a group or community or individual activity that was critical of the police or law enforcement or outside of your own community? So they got it in. Do you support them or you've been politically critical? No, not probably.
No.
Individual persons in that community, yes, privately. Have you or someone close to you ever had an education, training, or work experience in any of the following fields? Law enforcement, military, alcohol, drugs, domestic? Yes.
Yes, me too. My uncle was um, a military, and I know a few people that are military or were military.
Military.
Not
I'm a military brat, but we're both criminal majors. We're both
Yeah.
criminal justice majors. That puts us in the boat.
Yeah.
Do you have any strong personal belief or have been exposed to any strong personal beliefs from friends and family, friends and relatives about operating a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol? Uh, yes, I was hit nearly head on by a woman at 9:47 a.m. in front of the police department 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
For me, it's no.
But I'm going to go in this as I don't have a blanket belief. I have a personal experience belief that I can set aside. So that is going to be not sure.
For me, it's a no. It's an easy no.
Yeah. Have you been, yeah, no, honey. Have you ever been involved in group organization participating in a march, demonstration, campaign, or donated money on behalf of an organization or cause that is against driving under the influence? Sad. No,
No. I support them, but I do not.
I don't put
Not
my,
in this way. Not in this way that they are asking.
I'm taking it literal. Has anyone close to you ever been involved in an incident involving drinking and driving? If so, would that experience prevent you from a fair and impartial? No.
No.
Has anyone close to you
Have you?
been
It's a
in
16.
16?
Have you? Yeah. Have
Go
you
ahead.
or has anyone close to you been involved in witnessed a motor vehicle crash? Yes, for me.
Will it impair my ability in this case? No.
No. For me, yes, but no, no, for that. But I was in a car accident, but it was due to very, very bad weather, and even police had hard time standing on the road. How icy it was.
Have you or a family member, are we on 18 and 17? Is there anything about the crash reconstruction testimony that would make it difficult for you to be a fair and impartial case? No. Have you or
Yes,
any
because I can't stand.
No. Let's back that up. This doesn't say government. It just doesn't say the Commonwealth or defense. It just is there anything about crash reconstruction testimony in general
Okay,
that would
no.
make it difficult for you to be fair or impartial in this case? Generally, no.
Regarding
Now,
this case,
well, but we don't know who's presenting what. Both sides can present it. I am not impartial to watching and observing it. But what I can, after seeing it, I will make my decision. That's the way I'm seeing it.
mm,
Number 18, have you or family member, or you could say not sure. Have you or a family member or close friends been involved in a domestic violent relationship that featured physical, mental, or verbal abuse? What? Who hasn't known somebody?
I'm not sure.
I'm going to put not sure.
Yeah, me either. Me also too. I mean, I have been a few where I helped people not get out, but like more like a counselor type,
Have,
you know?
have, number 19, have you been a victim of violent crime? Hell yes.
Mm, no, for me.
During trial, you will hear testimony about medical treatment, death, review graphic autopsy photos. Will that affect your ability to be partial and fair, participate and be fair and impartial? No.
No,
You find the defendant guilty based on the circumstantial evidence, but you cannot find the defendant guilty based on speculation, guesswork, summarize. Is it difficult for you to understand the difference between criminal evidence, speculation, guesswork, and summarize? No.
no.
That will be hard for a lot of people. A lot of people will probably put not sure. If the defendant doesn't testify, do you think she's probably guilty or hiding something? No,
No.
I think it's wisdom. Do
And
you
it's her
know
right to not testify.
that's
And I wouldn't either. Either with Brennan and he lying in open court. No, hell no.
I'm with you.
Any other prosecution except for Larry, anyone, any other jurisdiction, maybe,
Maybe.
but maybe. But
Maybe
Brennan,
situation.
Lally, and McLaughlin and Auntie Bev, no, thank you.
That would be situational. That would be my answer. If it was
That's why I said maybe.
Yep. Number 23. Do you know or recognize anyone here today? I'm going to say no.
No.
Would your answer to any of the above questions be embarrassing or damaging if disclosed publicly? No.
No. It is also anonymously, so.
Yep. Do you have any concerns about your personal privacy due to the presence of video cameras in the courtrooms and the slightly publicized nature of the case? No, because I know that we should be protected. Is there any reason? Some people put don't know. That's what I would expect most people would put. If they want to get out of being a juror, they're going to put yes. Is there any reason why you do or do not want to serve in this jury?
No.
I would say, please get me on this jury.
Yes.
Okay, next question. Do you have any knowledge of this case gained from any source?
Yes.
Mind you, we're acting on like a very limited knowledge juror. I'm going to put no.
No.
What
Okay,
is-
let's say we don't have to.
Yes,
No.
wait. We'll put yes. And then here are your sources. Television. I'm going to put TV.
TV. Although for me it's
Everything.
internet.
It's everything except for family.
Well, I got my mom hooked to this case. So, and my neighbor. Although I doubt they will watch the trial with me. Mostly because of language barrier, but they'll get the rundown from me.
I hope your mom watches with us. Number 3. Number 3. What are the details of the case that you recall? I'm just going to put very vague. What you shared here. She's accused of hitting. There was a trial. It was hung, and that's pretty much all I know. That's my pretend juror mindset. Are you aware of any specific impact this criminal allegation has had on your community? Not sure. Number 5. Yes, Gerald. What is your primary source of news and information?
YouTube.
Local news.
Well, I don't live in the US, so YouTube is for me. And social media.
Well, for me, I'm kind of looking at it like a 65, 70-year-old person who doesn't do anything but watch the news when they come home at the end of the day. That's my humble little view.
There are still people who doesn't have, they do have TVs, but they don't have like traditional TV channels. So still YouTube and the social media is their primary sources for the for anything news related.
Yeah, I get it. How often do you read print or online newspaper, magazines, blogs, or sources? Not often. I don't read print.
I really don't.
Stuff. I read too much in school. How often are you exposed to news from radio, TV, podcast, social media? Minimal.
Daily.
Us, extremely.
Yeah.
What is your familiarity familiarity with the case prior to today. Limited.
If you're going to be impartial, well, like based only based.
How are you familiar with it? What's your familiarity? You would be put extreme deep familiarity because I
Yeah.
followed every word. Have you had discussions about this case prior to today?
Please don't look into my X feed, please, and what I post on X and what I retweet on X, please.
No.
Is there any reason you would be unable to follow instruction that during jury service you may not read any news or media accounts about this case, watch or listen to any media or news broadcasts or commentary about this case, discuss this case with anyone, research or look this case up on the internet or perform independent research? There is no reason for me to not follow this. So
yeah. So I would put I can comply.
I can comply too.
Number 11, is there any reason you would be able to follow the instructions that during your jury service you may not? Is that what you just read?
No, I read 10.
Read, view social material, blah, 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 blah. No, I can comply.
I don't know why that made two questions. This could be one question. They're very similar questions, 10, 11, and 11.
Is there any reason if you were inadvertently exposed to extrajudicial influence or media about this case, you would be unable to follow the instructions that you must report to the court? Nope, I can comply.
I can comply too.
All right, that is the jury form. I have very sure I would be pretty sure I would be pulled to the next level.
I would not.
Now, mind you, I am coming
They
at
also
would. I'm looking at like a huh?
They would also kick me out because at least not the defense. Defense would love me, but let's say that I have limited knowledge of this case, but they would know that I have science background and that I have done experiments before and I have not being quiet about it. I post about it on social media.
But here's the point. By reading this, they will bring us back. They will only ask you certain questions based on how you feel. How
But
you
does Commonwealth want someone who has? But does Commonwealth want someone who has a science background to be on the jury?
Sometimes, yes.
I don't. Okay, if a chemical background on biology, but physics background.
But here's why. If they believe that their case is based on a very heavy scientific proof analysis, that they would want someone with that kind of mind to agree with them and be able to convince the jurors when the jurors are overwhelmed and not understanding everything that is being said. And that way, depending on what your field of expertise and your scientific field is, I have seen them on there before with other cases, and it can help them. It's all based on what is the scientific method that they're wanting to validate and whether or not they think that you would be good for them to have on the jury.
Well, let's say that I'm on the jury and they set me on the jury because they would think, oh, I would be able to, like you said, to talk each other. Yeah, they would be dead wrong. Sorry for my language, but that would be.
But like the word assume makes an ass of you and me. You know that phrase, right?
No.
Okay. How do you spell the word assume?
A-S.
A-S-S.
S-U-M-E. Yeah,
That
yeah,
is an ass of you and me. When
yeah.
you assume something, you're making an ass of you and me, meaning you're being foolish. That's an American phrase. Assume means ass of you and me. You're making me
Yeah,
foolish.
Gerald is right. The fans would definitely want me on the jury because they would know that I would be like, see the BS the Commonwealth is selling, and I would be like, are you kidding with me? You want to convict her based on the BS? How is it logical? How many brain cells do you have in order to say she is guilty? Yeah, I am. I used to say milligrams and grams or ounces of brain matter. Now I'm saying brain cells. So I'm even have lowered.
Molecule, is that smaller than a cell?
I saw a lot of videos recently when about music that is uh very popular and very catchy, and people are commenting like my two last brain cells dancing still to the music. So I'm still using brain cells.
Yep, hold on. Oh.
But I have a bone to pick with the new reconstruction guy and Commonwealth in general.
Really?
Yeah. First and foremost, how the bloody heck did Brennan got into Harvard or wherever he went to law school? Because, and Lali too, and Bev too.
Well, some people get in law school because they have people like relatives who get them in.
So,
Not
why I
insinuating
asked that,
anything, honey.
and I have said that this on Discord
I'm
like gazillion times, and and on social media gazillion times, and I will say a gazillion more times. When you do an experiment, no matter what experiment you do, is it basically like what I did in my last work, where I did where I experiment with like marshmallows and other sweets in vacuum and explain to kids how it works and why it expands and so on. You have an experiment. In this case, you have John O'Keefe, you have a car, you know that car hit John at 24 miles per hour. That's it. That's the fact. No, that's the facts. And even you don't need the 24 miles per hour fact. That's like, parenthesis, So let's do an experiment.
fine, anyhow.
And the experiment is car hit John, John fell down, and he died. That's the hypothesis. Is it true or is it not true? You get a car, you get a person, you try to recreate the accident. When you recreate the accident or recreate an experiment, what end result do you get? Does it agree with the initial hypothesis that John was hit by a car? That's the only thing you need when you do a reconstruction. For sake, Commonwealth. And I have a bone to pick with you. How the bloody heck did you even pass science class in high school? Everyone that thinks that can read is guilty. I have one question for you. How the bloody heck did you pass science class in high school? How did you even go to college? How? I think science is mandatory to take in high school, if I remember right. How did you pass it? That's like the most basic thing in science class, to do an experiment, to write a report based on that experiment. And that report is written in the way that anyone can redo it based on the steps based on the materials you had and steps you take in the method. Results doesn't matter. You look at the result at the end and compare it. So yeah, I am pissed at Commonwealth because they're an idiot. Sorry for my word, but they're idiots. And they think that we are idiots too for buying their story. And everyone who thinks Karen Reed is guilty, yeah, sorry to say, but back to the question, how the heck did you pass science class?
I really question too, and not just science class, but how in the heck did you? I don't know. I don't even know how they got into being police officers sometimes. I just anyway.
And someone who wrote pages and pages of reports, I can attest how boring it is to like,
Right.
especially method. You have to be you have to be as detailed as possible. You seriously have to write every detail you did. And you can't, as you do an experiment, you can't write what you did as you did it, because it has, sometimes you're like in a time crunch, so you write it afterwards and you still have to remember everything you did step by step.
That's when you should have a scribe.
Well, professionals, reconstructionists do have it. I, as a college student, didn't have it, but did it from the memory.
I know, but I agree. But the thing is, yes, Gerald. Hey, honey. The thing is for me is that how can you put faith in police officers who think it's okay to pick up tainted blood and tainted snow using a solo cup, putting it in the bag from the gas station, not sealing it, not even labeling it, no chain of evidence, using a leaf blower? I'm like, if I couldn't trust anything they did in general.
Like Alan Jackson said, bring it, do it, please, do it.
Oh, guess what? I forgot to tell you. I'm gonna try. Do you the little shot ones that you get for shots? I'm gonna
Yeah,
get little ones, and I'm gonna rhinestone them, and I'm gonna wear them during the Karen Reed trial.
yeah.
You're like, no, thanks.
I wonder, speaking of that, I wonder what did the sales for Stop and Shop did it go up because of all of this talking
People
about Stop
wanted
and
it.
Shop?
They were just buying the bag by itself. They were
Yeah.
selling them on eBay.
I mean, I wonder how much profit they got from all of this. And how many people brought red solo cups just to buy it? Oh my God.
I just Googled something.
Well,
you could get the Stop and Shop bags for sale.
Hey, 80s Music Man.
Hello, 80s Music Man. Okay, now this came down this morning. Now comes the appellate court, Karen Reed, and respectfully moves the. Well, I can't. Court pursue. I can't say on. Not with her.
Me neither.
For the stay of trial scheduled for 11/1, Norfolk County Superior Court, pending resolution of this appeal, contending that such trial will violate double jeopardy rights. The respondent takes no position on appropriateness of a proposed remedy for this in particular case. What?
Hold on a second. This, you can say honorable, because this is appellate to the higher court, to the Fed court. So It's honorable court. It's all right to say it honorable. As long,
Okay,
you know.
I could do it there. Honorable. Gerald has a problem with stupid instructions. Do you know why?
Me too.
Do you know why? We were hanging a TV mount on the wall, and I've never seen one built like this before.
Oh,
And let's just say it was put on backwards and upside down and had to take it all apart. Well, the instructions were not clear. Don't laugh at my honey. I would have done the same thing after. I felt so bad for him. And then when I looked at the instructions and I looked at what he done, I would have said, I would have done the same thing.
I, I mean, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the instructions. Where did you buy it at IKEA?
No, Walmart, even worse. I could put furniture together. I used to have a job at Best Buy in the 90s, putting furniture together, making a lot of money. I can put furniture together. No problem, boo. No problem. IKEA furniture is a breeze for me. But this, it was hideous. Hideous. February 18th of 2025, as we go on. Next. Whoosh. Just 1 week after the conclusion of her state court appeal, Reed filed for her petition habeas corpus alleging that her pending trial, April 21st, 25 trial in Norfolk County Superior Court on charges of second-degree red room and leaving the scene of a collision with a vehicle for federal double jeopardy rights, document 1. After oral arguments on March 13th and 25, the district court denied Reed's petition, docket 27. Before denying the petition on merits, the district court found that Reed, 1, who was on pretrial release pending her state court trial date, probably brought her petition under citation. Number 2, satisfied the custody requirement to bring a habeas petition. 3, she exhausted her state court remedies. And 4, no obstruction doctrine barred it from being considered the petition. Cited. They may be instructions. Yeah, well, that may be it. The district court granted a certificate of appealability, finding Reed made a substantial showing of denial of constitutional rights as to all claims. Reed filed a notice of appeal on March 13, 2025, the same day that the district court denied her petition. Pursuant to the expedited briefing schedule agreed on by the parties, this appeal will fully be briefed on March 26, just 4 business days before Miss Reed's trial is scheduled on my birthday,
When is your birthday?
Wednesday, March 26th.
Oh, happy belated birthday.
Early, this Wednesday.
Early. Oh, okay. Never mind. I'll say happy birthday then.
Yep. But I won't be on during the day. It'll be in the evening. Because
There's always DMs.
Huh?
There's always DMs.
My boyfriend taking me out for the day. I haven't had that ever done. So March 19th, Reed filed the state superior court and assisted, come on, move, to motion to continue trial to April 28th. Attached here to Exhibit A to permit her appellate denial of her double jeopardy claims. The Superior Court denied the assisted. Am I reading it right? I still don't have my my glasses back. To motion ruling that the jury selection would be on April 1st of 2025, and that would be here. It would hear the defense on the motion again before the jury is sworn in if Reed's appeal remains pending. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
I don't think a lot of even appellate lawyers on YouTube said that she has a very weak grounds to stand on regarding this. If this happens, it has to be a new case law.
Say that again.
It's because of the jury did not come in, and it's not publicly announced. Even the existing case law is very weak, hence she has weak legs to stand on, and if they grant this, they have to make a new case law.
Yep. Educate.
But also, lawyers now, I think, said that it will also make it harder, which means that what if the jury comes back, if the roles are reversed, what if the jury comes back and say they came to the conclusion that not she, but someone else is guilty, but let's say there are like three charges, and they agreed on two, but did not agree on the third one, and hence they say they are deadlocked, but did not come forward. Does that mean that in that case that defendant should be found guilty after the fact? Like, it's a double-edged sword, you know?
I agree.
That's what lawyers said on YouTube. I'm not a lawyer, so this is not legal advice or legal anything.
Understood. June, the educational background for our fabulous Judge Canoni. I want to call her. Never mind. I won't be nice. Education, New England School of Law, JD, 1985. University of Massachusetts Bachelor's of Arts, 1982. That's it. That's her entire educational background. Basic law school. The Supreme Court has observed the right to confer and criminal accused by double jeopardy would specifically be undetermined if appellate review of double jeopardy claims are postponed until after conviction and sentencing. In the guarantee, it is guaranteed against being twice put to trial for the same offense. Obviously, these aspects of guaranteed protections would be lost if the accused were forced to run the gauntlet a second time before the appeal had been taken. Even if accused is acquitted or convicted, has her conviction ultimately reversed on double jeopardy grounds? She has still been forced to endure the trial that the double jeopardy cause was designed to prohibit. You want to read a little? Are you okay with that?
Yeah. Under Abney, a defendant facing federal charges is entitled to a stay pending adjudication of her double jeopardy claim, unless that claim is found to be frivolous. However you pronounce it. C.E.G. United States v. Ramirez, 884, blah, blah, blah. The petitioner respectfully submits that a defendant facing charges in state court is entitled to the same protection. C. Affirming stay of state court proceedings because petitioner was entitled to have his double jeopardy claim litigated before being retired. Gonzalez v. Justices of Moon Court.
You don't have to read all that. Just say cited.
Cited. Enjoying state prosecution in order to permit the meaningful education of the petitioner's claim under the double jeopardy cause. Federal statute expressly provides that a habeas court may, pending appeal, stay any proceeding against the person detained in any state court or by under the authority of any state for of any state for any matter involved in the
Habeas. Habeas.
proceeding, cited after the granting of such state any such proceeding in any state court or by or under the authority of any state shall be void. Cited.
Okay. So what does that mean?
I mean, they should grant, based on all of this, they should grant that stay
Of trial.
yeah. But that doesn't. But
way I
then
take
we. But 10 weeks is what? If we start, let's say the ruling comes today or tomorrow, sometime this week. So let's start. Let's say that the jury notifications comes out next week. Then it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. First week of June, like June 2nd.
For a new trial.
For a new trial.
But here, Canoni said it would take 3 months to line up all these jurors again.
10 weeks. I just calculated. Hold on a second. Much easier to say.
That would
Hold
be
on a
12
second.
weeks. Wouldn't that be 12 weeks?
Today we in Sweden have this thing called week number, and this week is week 13, and in 10 and next week is week 14. So in 10 weeks, sorry, next week we have week 23, which is June 2nd, which is 10 weeks, 2.5 months. I love it. People find that we have numbered weeks here in Sweden weird, but it helps in situations like this.
So I have no problem personally, and I'm not taking judge side, but you have the jury pool. Unless we have had them sworn in and we've started that first day of trial. Until that happens, they can hold the jury, or they can go through the process and pull the jury. And if it comes down that the appellate court and it's realized we really can't do trial, they can release them and immediately start getting everybody together for another jury pool at a later date. I just don't want to see them delay this and then come back and realize, oh, we could have gone to trial.
But the problem is that depends on when that decision comes down, and if the court is stayed by the end of this week and they send out notices next week, it's first week of June we are starting, and they have 365 days to retry her, to start the retrial. So any delay would go after these 365 days. But then also we have a problem that, let's say that federal court says, let's toss out for charge number 1 and number 3. Then we have, but they pick the jury for all 3 charges. You know, they want a different kind of jury for just the charge 2.
Well, I'm still stuck on the 365 days to retry her. I think,
isn't there like such a waiver or something? Can she waive the 365 days retrial?
They can. They can waive what's called the speedy trial. They can waive that. So let's see what else they have to say. I'll keep reading. Federal statute expressly provides that the habeas court may, pending appeal, stay any proceeding against a person detained in any state court or by or under authority of any state court for any matter involved in the habeas corpus proceedings. So the federal, what it states here, Bakeley, it's a federal statute. Dang it. I knew that wasn't going to work. The federal statute provides that they can pause all of this until they reach a decision. After granting, after granting such a stay, any such proceeding in the state court or by under the authority of the state shall be void. But it also stops the clock. That's a double jeopardy on the defense's part. It does stop any clocks that may be ticking. Alternative, assuming the arguendo of the court find that it must apply generally acceptable tests for insurance of the preliminary injunction. Okay, I don't know what that word is. Let's look up that word. Let's do a word lookup. I don't know that one. Do you know that word?
Mm-mm.
Arguendo. For the sake of argument, Latin. So let's just assume, for the sake of argument, the court finds it must apply the general applicable test for insurance of preliminary injunction. Hi, Libby. The Sementilli trial is dark until Friday. The judge has a previous event. It's a big conference thing that he's required to attend. So Monday through Thursday, we will not have it this week. Wednesday evening, we'll do a birthday party. My birthday is Wednesday. Tomorrow, we have Karen Reed in court. We may have her Wednesday and Thursday. I don't know. But Friday will be the first day back for the Sementilli trial. Thank you, Libby, for hopping in. I understand if you don't want to hang, just hit the like button on your way out. But we'd love to have you to stay. Reflecting the party's argument that standard applied. The petitioner respectfully contends that Reed will be irreparably harmed by the denial of a stay, which would force her to undergo a retrial that she contends violates the double jeopardy rights. Reed is a strong likelihood of a success on merit for reasons set forth in her opening brief with the court. And the district court found an issue raised by her petition to be substantial. The respondents will suffer no irreparable harm or stay pending adjudication of Reed's petition. Indeed, the Commonwealth agreed to approximately a 4-week continuance in the court, and a stay is therefore in the public interest. The Superior Court statements that it would be a read on motion to continue prior to jury being sworn in is not sufficient to protect Reed's rights if the Superior Court again denies Reed's motion at the point that she will immediately be placed in a jeopardy a second time, which no ability to seek a stay in the court to prevent what she asserts is a violation of her constitutional rights. Additionally, Reed's trial counsel cannot realistically be expected to select a jury without knowing whether the trial will include all 3 counts or only count 2. Wow, that is huge. That is the nutshell right there. This last sentence is the nutshell.
That's what I said earlier. Like they Judge Canoni wants them to pick the jury before the judgment comes. And what if feds toss out the first and third charge? That's a whole new jury for just DUI, which is basically charge number 2.
That's why we went through this to see what questions were asked, and you are correct. And I believe it is true too. If they should win, then this jury mind is already tainted because she's being accused of killing him and not a DUI.
And may also be a complete different jury questionnaire if there is just a DUI. I don't know how
That's
it works, but
yeah. Yeah. Because it opens up with her being charged for multiple crimes, not just the one, not just a DUI. So that's very true. In sum, the petitioner's respectfully submits the double jeopardy protections at stake in this matter are simply too important to force Reed to stand trial for Redrum. Has it been 2 hours? Nope. In what she contends would be a violation of her rights, therefore having opportunity to appeal substantial constitutional claims. Anti-bad. And signed, sealed, delivered. It's Mars. So, oh, didn't mean to do that. Meant to do this. So interesting.
yeah.
I wonder. Oh, I got a bunch of stuff. Let me see if anything else has dropped. No,
I
I
just
don't see
checked.
anything
No.
else dropping. Uh,
I said to you earlier in the chat the problem I have. May I go back to what we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
The new reconstruction guy for Commonwealth. Except I have as I have bone to pick with him because it is not his job to evaluate the witness testimony and whether or not it agrees or not agree with what he came to whatever conclusion he came to, because he is not, unless he is like a detective also, not just like a police officer also, not just a car reconstructionist.
Mhm.
Gerald's comment. Great.
I was trying not to react to that while you were talking. I was trying so hard not to react to
Can
that
I
while
add
you were talking.
Brennan to that list of of names?
Huh?
Can I add Brennan to list of names who has IQ under the 70?
All
Okay,
of
never
them.
mind. So yeah, that it is not his job, nor is he, as someone who has, I, I mean, well, during the university, during high school, during like even at my last work, amount of experiments I did there. Okay, maybe not at my last work, but like university and high school, I had zero influence from outside sources. The only sources that made me came to whatever conclusion of the whatever experiment I did was the facts of that experiment. Anything outside of it, whatever. Just like Arca, they're like, I don't care about DNA found. It can be gazillion explanations as to why it was on the taillight, none of which will impact the conclusion I came to. You know?
Yeah.
But this guy, he all of a sudden has a detective badge or whatever, because he count in the testimony of the witnesses. He has a microbiology degree to evaluate DNA samples. He has. I stopped listening at however many expertise he has, but that's the boiled down. And what's the car reconstructionist? So he has to be good at forensic, the mechanics and kinematics. So, how many degrees does he have? Seriously, do we have like a? How old is he? I mean, is Brennan trying to outdo Dr. Russell? He can't. Sorry, Brennan, but you
Think about
can't
Dr.
do that.
Russell. Anybody who knows anything about medical would hold her in high regard
I'll,
and esteem.
I'll say it. I said it, and I'll say it again. Dr. Russell, her expertise, knowledge, degrees, and experience, she can eat Brennan, Lally, and McLaughlin for breakfast as appetizer and still have place to like a really good breakfast, American style, like with pancakes and eggs and bacon and whatever.
Girl, shush! You're getting me hungry, child. What is that?
A sandwich, a baguette.
Oh, I love baguettes.
Yeah, there's like I there's like a I don't know what's in it. It's cheese and some kind of a. I think it's a pork, but it may also be like a turkey something.
I'm gonna go to. We're gonna end, and I'm gonna go get me food. But the thing is, with all of this is all coming up this week, tomorrow on the Karen Reed. Um,
I
there,
have to say something. I am gonna skip tomorrow. I have exam on Friday and I need to study,
no,
so I am not gonna watch tomorrow.
honey
I'm
boo,
gonna
there is
skip
a replay.
completely.
There is a replay.
I'll do it on the weekend. I have lots to do this until Friday.
I don't blame you. It is very difficult. I am now starting the second half of my first of this semester. See, here, I was so glad they did this. You can take 2 classes for 8 weeks or 4 classes for 16. You go 2 and 2 or all 4 at once. I like the 2 and 2. I can focus better on those 2. I'm getting A's across the board. I made the dean's list.
Congrats.
And for someone who was told you would never be successful in college, eat my. Anybody knows the movie The Help? If you've seen the movie The Help,
I don't think so.
go and watch it. It is 100% on for way it was back in the 1960s and 50s as far as the black female maids in America and how life was for them. And this I won't spoil it, but this maid did something to a pie and she gave it to her previous employer.
Oh, there is I'll send you. There is a movie on Max. I saw that you had Max. There is a movie on Max. Underappreciated woman during 60s, I think, if I remember the timeline. They don't say the timeline, but the time it's happened. But based on the events in the movie, it's around 1960.
Okay, I didn't get it. If you sent it, I didn't get it.
I didn't. I'll have to find what's
Okay.
the name of the movie.
This movie, there's a part where you gotta watch it. But anyway, so but I will say that I really enjoy the way college is for us, and I really like the way I have that choice. But when it comes to Karen Reed and all this, Kanoni, you can eat anytime.
Agree.
What do you call? Oh my gosh, what do you call a lawyer with an IQ under 70? Your Honor. Like they say, if you can't do it, teach. Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
I
I
this week.
studied to be a teacher, but I only did that because I love to teach.
Well, but it's an old saying, who can do, do. Who cannot do, teach.
Oh my god, I can't believe it. I can find the movie right now, but I'll send it to you in. I know it's on Max, and I think it's on Disney Plus as well, because I
Okay.
think I watched it there.
All right. I have watched the entire Karen Reed Max series. And I will have to say, I feel that they gave some side to the prosecution and some of the family friends of John O'Keefe. I believe that they've given some perspective on both sides. I liked the way it was done, very behind the scenes through the entire first trial. That to me was awesome to see that, how they worked, how they did, how she lived. That was way cool. I am concerned about a few things that were said, but at the same time, I I do believe that this trial is going to be the trial of this century when it comes to retrials, not the original, but the retrial of the century.
I
And
agree.
I am thinking about maybe later today, start while I'm doing homework, just throw up the beginning of her trial last time and just start so people can start getting refreshed with what they had seen.
I have to confess, I cried during fifth episode of the documentary.
I cried during part of it too, but which one did you cry?
When she broke down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Everybody,
then from that point on, it was like cry, not cry,
everybody was
cry.
crying.
It was like this.
But here's she made a point at the very beginning of the video when they said, "Did you hit John O'Keefe and kill him with your car?" And she goes, "No, I did not hit him with my car. Did not kill him." And she goes, "It doesn't matter how I say it. If I look up, if I look down, if I don't look, if I smile, if I don't smile, if I breathe, no matter what I do, I'm being read. No matter what." So in court, when trial is on, she's now between like when they're coming and going, and when she's talking to her family, she's a little more animated and a little bit more smiley in herself. People are saying, well, you can't smile while you're having a trial. Guys, when you go through trial like this, you've got to have some sign of sense of humor. You've got to have some kind of a, um, how do I put it? You got to take a breath and be human.
And you
And
can't be unemotional also. You have to show some emotion. Because otherwise you'll be cold as ice.
well, but the camera is on her, the way the courtroom is designed, and social media. Like when the pictures of John O'Keefe came up and they said she had no response. Somebody said that, I think. She had no response. She was just cold as ice. She was just, and I'm like, you have to also understand she's been desensitized. She has seen it over and over and over and over and over again. And you're not allowed to have breakdowns in the middle of trial. What?
Top 10 series on Max. Number 10. Karen Reed.
She made the top 10.
She made the top 10.
Yep. But
of course,
does that
lost.
make sense?
And then this is Sweden because, and it may also not just universal, but Sweden because my favorite show, which is Swedish, is right here, and that's sorry, and that is the Border Patrol Sweden.
Well, I'm going to pull up Max. Let me see what shows up on mine. But does that make sense why she's not being so emotional? She's being straight faced to stoic.
I'm trying to find this movie, but it
She is
does not
not,
want me to
she
find
is
it.
not top 10 US. Not top 10 US.
Then it is popular in Sweden.
But it may get there.
It is popular in Sweden. It is top 10 in Sweden then.
Yep.
It's huge.
Yep. Yep. It's not top 10 in US yet. So I don't, if I was a juror and I saw her behaving the way she did the first trial, I would not let that affect me. don't forget the way they presented what she said in the show was edited to be shown the way they wanted it. That is true. I was going to talk about that. When I was on TV, they edited and cut out bits I said and added to others. Yes, that is true. And but we're talking about her emotions and everything in court. And she said, they have body leaders, lip readers. How no matter what I do, I'm screwed, is what I got. And so I respect her. I would be that way. When my ex was going through trial, they told him the same thing because they showed some of the pictures to the jury. And even if it disgusted him, whatever, you had to keep a stone cold face because anything you say and do is held against you, not just anything you say.
And it will be picked apart.
Yep. And that's what she's saying. And I get it. And I really understand her. And I wouldn't want to be there in her shoes at all. All right.
Yeah.
So this is a little odd week. I am just getting in my groove. I'm going to start doing a recorded. I'm going to try and record it. Weekly preview and a weekend review. So maybe on the weekends I can do a weekend review and then I can have a preview for the following week that will be shorter. I'm not going to make them super long. This has already been 46 hour and 46 minutes. So, but this is a read. So Reed gets all the time we need. Monica Sementilli's coming up again. Austin is still on the stand on a second time on a stand. He was witnessed before Baker did. Then Baker witnessed for 4.5 days. And then Baker stopped witness. He's done. And now Austin is back. It would not surprise me if they did not bring Baker back. Because this prosecution is going for every millipede of detail in this case. We are winding down. I think the judge was hoping to be Friday, at least closing arguments coming Friday, Monday, and then going to jury. But if closing arguments are as they were for opening arguments, we are in for 1.5 to 2 days of prosecution closing arguments.
What?
Day and 2 quarters. A day and 2 quarters.
That's longer than the Arizona trial that we followed with the recovery addict. That guy that lived on that had a ranch on the border with
okay,
maybe
what's going on? Whoa! I just saw someone talk about that. That was Richard Allen. What's happening?
I have no idea. No, that's not Rick. Isn't Richard Allen the guy who? Isn't Richard Allen the guy the Idaho case, the EB and Libby? Libby and
Alan Richards, probably. Let me see. Let me get down to June that sent it to me. No, who mentioned it up ahead? It was mentioned early on.
Isn't that Richard Allen case like the one that is very controversial and probably very, very huge cover up also? And that they put him in like isolation for like 8 months or something like that. And
yeah, Alan. I can't remember.
Yeah, someone did say.
Comment.
It was. It's boring.
Where did I see that?
I saw that too. I'm looking also.
Was it in private comment?
It was Don Burke.
We're in here?
Yeah, 5:33 p.m.
That's your time, not my time.
Yeah, sorry. 12:33 p.
Richard asked.
No, you're 11:33.
Yep, we're good. What's going on?
No, this is some other case. The prosecution decided not to retry. The jury was hanged, and the prosecution decided to not retry. The opening statements and closing arguments were even more boring than Lally's.
Oh, yes. That was the border one. Yes.
Yeah, the border one. Yeah.
Yes.
But
Oh,
I had a problem
yeah.
with prosecution. Like,
that was one of my first cases that I followed because it was close by me.
I had a problem with prosecution, several reasons, but one of the reasons I had a problem with them. No, sorry, defense I had a problem with, not prosecution. Prosecution was right on that when asking like how far away, while defense was like, oh, is it like a one football field? Lady, he's from Mexico. Mexico football and American football, not the same.
Not by any means.
I mean, I understand that she probably, on the other hand, she may have thought of like soccer football, because Mexicans are huge on football as in soccer, not American football. So yeah, that's a whole other thing.
You are right. Her body language, as attention is on me, I'm blinking. Nothing to do with guilt or innocence. I take time to process a question because of MS. My answers are odd and thought out because of misspeaking, and that is very true. And so I can appreciate that in her, but it does bother me that people are attacking her. She's damned if she does and damned if she doesn't. So she's going to do what's best for her.
I'll give them. I'm not holding punches anymore. Like if I am going to say it, and like I said earlier, please. How the heck did you pass science in high school? And you are to judge, you buy that BS from the prosecution, then you're to judge Karen Reed when she's fighting for her life and she can eat you for breakfast with her education, probably. Considering you didn't pass science class.
Yeah. She's a very smart woman, and I am very impressed with her coping skills, but she even has her breaking points. And I did at the end. I cried with her. Well, wait a minute. Is it?
But I mean that
ever.
I have to ask you, friends.
Obviously. So I thought, could I have this happen the day after this happened, the day after John was killed? I was confused and bewildered. There was no memory of anything happening, but I had been drinking and it was late. I never heard from him again, ever, obviously. So I thought, could I have run him over? Did he try to get me as I was leaving and I didn't know it? I mean, I've always got the music blasting. It's snowing. I got the wipers going, the heater blasting. Did he come and hit the back of my car and I hit him in the knee and he was drunk and passed out and asphyxiated or something? And then when I hired David Yannetti, I asked him those questions the night of January 29th. Like, David, what if I ran his foot over or what if I clipped him in the knee and he passed out or went to.
If she clipped him in the knee, there would be damage to the knee.
Yeah, and the audacity by Brennan to ask communications between Yannetti and Karen Reed is just because she said what she. Okay, I looked up that rule that he cited. I mean, sure, she may have said out loud what she talked to David Yannetti, but does it really open the door for him to? I mean, isn't that like privilege?
It opens the door. Once you make whatever you say in private, in a closed room with your attorney, is under privilege. The moment you bring another person in, or you say to somebody what you said, that's done.
But what are the chances that this was talk over the phone and not over the message? Because we had,
If it's a
I
voice,
would, I am
it's a voice
seven,
call, then it's not going to be recorded.
yeah, I am 75, okay, 60% sure that this conversation happened over the phone, not in text message.
Doesn't matter. If she says, I told my attorney this, he told me this, from that point on, that conversation is no longer protected because she said it out
hold
loud
on.
in public.
She said that on the January 29th. So anything after, so January 30th and forward, that's still protected. He wants conversations between her and him between 29th and of January and February 20 and February 2nd. So they can, in that case, he can, let's say that opened the door, but that opened the door just for the January 29th conversations.
Well, but the problem is there's a lot of open doors in these videos. That's what they're saying. Let's watch a little more. No.
The day after this happened, the day after John was leaving, and I didn't know it. I mean, I've always got the music blasting. It's snowing. I got the wipers going. The heater hit him in the knee, and he was drunk and passed out and asphyxiated or something. And then when I hired David Yannetti, I asked him those questions the night of January 29th. Like, David, what if, I don't know, what if I ran his foot over? Or what if I clipped him in the knee and he passed out or went to care for himself and he threw up or passed out? And David said, yeah, then you have some element of culpability. The day after this happened, the day after John.
Okay, Haley Mouse, I don't want to argue you. It could be different for different places, but I must say, when I went through the situation with my ex, and it was made very clear to me because I was his wife, and I wanted to be in on some of the meetings with him and the attorney. And well, now that I know they threw me under the bus, but it was still true. If say if Karen Reed had her sister come with her to an attorney meeting, and the attorney would have to tell her, you understand, anything that's said in this meeting is not confidential. You have brought a third party into the conversation. Same with telephone calls. I was told, because I did something wrong, I made a comment about the meeting I had in hiring the attorney for my ex-husband. And I made a comment to somebody about that meeting. And now I was told, because I said this, he said this, it broke that confidentiality because I said it to people in public. Why do you think your attorneys tell you speak to no one? They don't say, oh, you can speak to anyone. You can speak to your mom and your dad. They're protected. They say, talk to no one about anything about this case. That you can say, yes, we're still in trial. Yes, we're still in mitigations. Yes, it's still going. But the moment that you talk about specifics, especially if it's something you've talked about with your attorney, he said, can break it. Now, most of the time, it doesn't bite you in the butt, because most of the time, people aren't going to know that you told Susie this or you told John that. But it does apply in this case because she admitted in front of millions of people, I told my attorney this. The moment it said, it can open the door. In that jurisdiction, there may be different rules. For us here, you broke the confidentiality when you share it publicly.
Brennan does cite the rules. And I think under some sub rule, it says that once what you just said. But I mean, when we started having problems with our beloved tenants, we hired an attorney, and everything was over the phone, voice No, the only message was like, oh, can you call me? Can you send me this and that? And can you send me more, like whatever they didn't pay because they're back. That's it. That was our messages between us and our attorney.
Hold on, I want to address something before I forget. We also have to come into what's called hearsay. So, June, if I'm having a conversation with my husband and you're in there, and we go to court, it could be called sometimes it can be covered under hearsay. But it wasn't like it wasn't like Karen Reed told me, yeah, I told my lawyer this. It's a little different. What I'm saying is she publicized it in front of millions of people. People heard it. Everybody heard it. It's out there for the masses. It is no longer confidential. But yes, it can be from what my attorney told me, because I asked him, because I said, look, I have a couple of people, they're my confidants, and they're like, he goes, I said, they're my ministers. And he goes, well, there are some laws that protect you under ministerial, but it's only in confession for the purpose of repentance. But if you sit there and you just use them like a counselor and you start saying, my attorney said this, I said this, my attorney said this, I said that, that's no longer confidential. But I'm not going to argue it's different everywhere else. I just think if you are in a fight for your life, I'm not sure I agree that she should have done this live.
But this was done last year before the first trial.
Still, shouldn't have been done before the first trial.
Yeah, but back to what I said. So we had our conversation and talked with our attorney, lawyer, always over the phone, because it was easier to talk. The only conversations we had was like questions we had, and him saying like, "Oh, I need this. Do you agree with that?" and so on. Everything else was call, talk over the phone. So, what are the chances there are zero messages between Janetti and her talking about this? It was all over the phone call.
Well, there's like her and Aiden Kearney. And he says, guess what? I don't believe there's a lot of evidence because we spoke. I mean, written evidence. And I understand. And I agree with you. This may be a fishing expedition that comes up like with a little minnow and not the whale that they're hoping to come up with.
I would not be surprised if the defense was like, sure, go ahead. I would not be surprised.
They kind of don't have a choice if it's ordered, but yeah.
I mean, or they will like let's argue against it, just so we don't set a bad precedent. But we don't give a f if she says yes to this, because we did this all over the phone. And I would guarantee, I'm not a lawyer, but I would guess that most important things are not done over the email or phone or messages, but over the phone call.
But phone calls can be recorded too. And the problem is this: some lawyers record all phone calls. And if they recorded all those phone calls have to be turned over.
How do they know that if Janetti did record it?
Staff, believe it or not, people talk. Gerald says spousal privilege should have protected you, and the judge should have put it into it. Forgot that. Well,
a question here. You know this better than I. When we hired a lawyer, it was for everyone, the whole family. So not just my dad, who was actually suing the tenants. So we were all under this lawyer privilege. But let's say that Karen Reed brought her sister to a meeting with her, and let's say that her sister is also Janet is also her sister's lawyer. Does that count in as like she wouldn't be under?
If it's like a class action lawsuit where a group of people are suing one, okay. anybody within that group is protected. But in a criminal case, Karen Reed is the only defendant. That's their only client. So for her to be have a client confidentiality with her attorney is there. If she brings her sister into the conversation, the lawyer will say, "Do you want her here? Because if you do, you're waiving your confidentiality." Experienced that many a times. Well, it does. You're right. It does. The staff and the expert witnesses, Joe. But what I'm talking about is if Auntie Bev does grant all communication regarding this case between Yannetti and Reed, and if Yannetti recorded any of the phone calls, those recordings would have to be submitted. Also, the phone calls between her and the staff would have to be submitted. Because you're right, they're all one entity. So if she talked to a staff member, those have to be turned over. I'm not a lawyer. That's my experience. That's what I'm saying out of my personal experience with a lot of stuff that I've gone through. My ex was charged with a federal crime, was convicted, and so that's my personal experience. But anytime you bring a third person into a conversation between the attorney and the client, it's no longer confidential. So to make it confidential, you can have a conversation with your attorney, and your attorney can have a conversation with the other person separate. But even that, any notes, that's why. Have you noticed, Angela, when they say, did you have a meeting with the ADA?
Mhm.
Did you have a meeting with this attorney, that attorney? Yes, I did. What'd you talk about? We talked about this. Were there any notes, recordings? No.
Yeah.
Then they can't continue the questioning. But if they say, yeah, he took notes, then those notes are part of evidence and have to be turned over. Yeah. Give it here.
Thank you for reminding me this. So the prosecution does not want the defense to bring the third party culprit. Defense question: Why are they? Why is Jessica Hyde and Ian Viffin on the witness list? They are there to solely provide about that famous 227 Google search.
Right. But here's the thing.
They could be, sorry, but if, okay, they could be on the witness list and they, okay, put them in the rebuttal. In that case.
Here's the thing. You throw everything at that witness list, even if you know you're not going to use them, but you don't want the defense to have first shot, put them on your witness list. The other thing is, it may not be about a third culprit. It could be about impeachment. Because if they can get her impeached to the point that the jury won't believe her, she was the first and only person that really heard Karen Reed say, did I hit him? I hit him. Could I hit him? She told other people about that. Even the police officers on scene said, I never heard her say it, but we were told she said it.
Yeah. And, well, someone said, I don't remember who, and if it was during the trial or some live on YouTube, I think it was
That's right.
live on YouTube, that some police officer or former police officer said that if I was on the scene and I heard a defendant say, I hit him, I hit him, like Jen McCabe says, I would have arrested her right there. Maybe not arrested directly, but
She
detained
would have
her.
been detained.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that was said. She would have been detained on the freaking spot. One guy said, had I heard that, I would have detained her.
Yeah. So I heard it right. It was during the trial.
Nobody heard it. And you cannot hear it in any of the recordings. And it is said that she said it after the police arrived. We haven't
Okay.
heard it on any recordings.
Speaking of that, back to the recordings and Google searches. So Jen McCabe says that she Googled "How Long to Die in Cold" at 6:23 and then at 6:24. How? Please, I hope Jessica Hyde or Ian Biffin or anybody, those two. I know what the feds and the Richard Green says, but I want Jessica Hyde and Ian Biffin to explain to me. So, if she Googled how many stuff during that period, so the only thing that is wrong timestamp is "How Long to Die in Cold," but not wrong timestamp at 6:23 and 6:24, not wrong timestamp when she Googled basketball, whatever, not wrong timestamp when she Googled whatever else she Googled, not wrong timestamp YouTube, not wrong timestamp.
I got
That's
something to
also
tell
I
you
thought.
on that. I fully forgot, and this is one reason why I want to do today. When I was at my retreat this weekend, one of my dear friends' husbands, that's his field of expertise. And I asked him about that. He didn't know anything about the case. And I said, okay, I'm going to ask you a question. I have my phone and I open a tab and I type in "How Long to Die in Cold." And then I close. Well, what will it timestamp at the time that I entered that? He said yes. I said, okay, hold on. Now, another possible. I'm at 2:30 in the morning. I have this tab open. I'm Googling and searching a bunch of things. Then I fall asleep. I don't close it out. It's just running in the background. And at 6 something in the morning, I just click on that open tab and put "How Long to Die in Cold." What time is going to
I'll
be
be right
time
back.
stamped? Now, he said it is plausible. However, it's going to stay on that timestamp. And when you hit enter, it re-engages and it's going to hit that timestamp again. So it would have re-engaged that timestamp.
What does that mean?
Okay.
Does it mean that she Googled does it mean
Okay,
what she
here's the first Google.
Yeah.
My daughter's soccer schedule at 2:27 in the morning. I leave it sitting there. I don't close it. I leave it up. It goes to sleep mode. 6:30 in the morning. I open it. Ding. It's open. But I haven't done anything with it yet. It's stationary. It just woke up. That state is going to be 2:27 in the morning. But now I come in and I type "How Long to Die in Cold." It's still in that state. But the moment I hit send, enter, search, it's going to click in. This is going to go away and it's going to be the 6:27 timestamp. You following me?
Yeah.
It can stay that in that frozen state, but as soon as there's activity, it's going to ping the new activity, the new time.
Mm.
He said if he was looking at that data and he had to testify, which he's done a lot of, he would say that the timestamp of "How Long to Die in the Cold" would have been the 2:27 in the morning because it automatically clicks when the stamp, when you hit send, enter, search, that time stamps begins. You have changed the window.
Yes.
The window isn't open and gets stuck at that, and you can do all these searches And as long as you don't close it and bring it back up, no. I'm up right now. I have a window up. If I change anything about this window, that timestamp's going to change.
Yeah. So
He said, bull. He called bull. And you're right. That's the other thing. He said, if there's an inconsistency with the following searches, like maybe the time is off, something was glitching, it's going to happen to the subsequential searches until it's resolved. So you're right. The other timestamps are correct because the first one's correct.
yeah,
She
and
did
don't forget.
make that timestamp at 2:27. He said he could not now, unless it's a program that's supposed to be masking or filtering or like private mode or something that's made to alter these. So you can't be caught. But she didn't have that on her phone.
No. Well, so
Hope I made your day.
But defense hope no, they're not listening. I am, but I really hope that they ask that Ian Viffin and Jessica Hyde about that, because how accurate are
logic-wise? No, it's 2:27.
So 27. Don't forget, she took a screenshot. She sent something to somebody. Okay, maybe not her. I don't remember who took a screenshot.
That was the other thing, the delete.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that.
Wait, this is what he said. Well, you can delete. It stays. I said, yes, but I told him, he goes, but what happened was all of her searches in the past, none of them were deleted. This one was marked red delete. And he goes, is this Cellbrite? I said, yeah. And he goes, yeah. What happens is it shows it was deleted. It's still on the phone, but it shows that the person had to physically delete that search window. So when you do your searches or you do all this and you go in, let me get here. See this that little box down there?
Yeah.
I can't click it because I cleared them. But say I do this and then I open up a new window.
And then there's like a search history. This?
Yeah, but look.
And then you do this, that you remove it.
Right, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
If you go here, I have two windows open being for searches or windows open, right?
Yeah.
Each one of these is going to be stamped the moment I opened it, take 2:27 in the afternoon. When I go up here and I hit that X, I deleted that search window. Not the search, but the entire page is connected to. That's the deletion she made.
So, wow.
So I can go here and click here and search and search and search and search, and it's fine. But she had thousands of searches on her phone, and she deleted not just the search, but the whole window. That's why it's marked in red.
I can't wait for
Gerald
her
is
to
right,
get
or
understand.
any other router on that path.
Yeah.
There's one stipulation. Wait, there's one stipulation on that. If the time served are offline, the timestamp will be wrong. No, but they were not offline.
No,
wait a minute. I got a data engineer as a boyfriend. Use him.
Yeah, I am.
All right, Gerald, am I right? As a data engineer, am I correct?
I'm going to find the biggest bowl I can find, and then I'm gonna ask my mom to make popcorn, and she's going to fill that bowl, and I am going to eat popcorn while I watch I watch Jen McCabe on the stand. I'm not gonna waste popcorn during her direct, but I'm gonna so use it during cross.
Here,
It's gonna be
the problem that I think what's happening is everybody is chasing all these rabbit trails and they're forgetting to come back to the core. Come back to the core. Come back to mama. Come back. Break this back down. It's sometimes I feel prosecution and defense with expert witnesses sometimes ask questions that make it too difficult for people to follow the answers. Break it down, make it simple, stupid. So I got to run, but last words, my dear.
Did you watch the Lawyer You Know podcast from today?
The what?
The Lawyer You Know podcast with
I slept. I will while I'm getting ready to leave, and that's where I'm going.
Papa T, I'm not going to spoil you very much, but Papa T has some very interesting thoughts on the whole Fed investigation that may very well tell us that Feds are not done.
Yeah, no. I don't believe they are either. I believe what the Feds have done, honestly, I think helps Karen Reed in the end because it gets the focus on one thing instead of multiple things. And it allows them to bring in evidence that was kind of hard to bring in because as long as the Feds were involved, there was a protection. Now that can be opened up a little bit with hope and be able to possibly help her.
He also said, as a former federal prosecutor, that he, as a prosecutor, had great relationship with state prosecutors. Not just him as a prosecutor, but the whole office had a great relationship and worked with each other. They even had meetings and lunches and not, with other prosecution offices, not just in Florida, but like the whole.
Nationwide.
He named a few things regarding that. And he said that he called the relationship between Massachusetts federal prosecution and Norfolk DA, he called that relationship dysfunctional. And he said that's not normal. That's not, it's not just
there's a mistrust there.
Yeah, but he said that this case is unique on so many levels, but this distrust, this dysfunctional relationship between federal DA and federal and the state is not normal. It has never happened. May not have used the words "may have never happened," but it has not to his knowledge that he saw
it's not a normal relationship between state and federal ADAs. That's for sure.
And he thinks something is going on there. And that's why he thinks that even though the investigation is over, Feds are not done.
Yep. And that's one thing. They can pause at any time. They can pick it back up at any time. And you bet you will. And especially since Proctor was found. Well, and we're going to have to cut it, but I want to say this, and I'll get your last words, but I was wondering if the Trooper Proctor internal investigation, the FBI, and Karen Reed, all of that was hurting her more than helping her. And I think by having a resolve with Trooper Proctor and the feds coming down out of the case, I almost did the feds. I do listing orders in sign language. Yeah. So you have Karen Reed, you got the feds, and you have Trooper Proctor. Proctor's out. Feds are on side. Now everything is here. And I think that can help her. And I only think that the situation with Trooper Proctor only helped her.
I sincerely hope that I said earlier in the chat, the Commonwealth did not just throw him under the bus, they ran him over. You know that machine, when they pave the road, they use it to even the road. Then they use that machine to run him over with.
Roller.
Yeah.
And that's where the phrase, "you've been steamrolled, honey."
Yeah, he was thrown under the bus, then steamrolled.
Actually, I saw that happen to a guy. I had a construction site across from my house, and my apartment, they were building literally right, and it was a clear view. And I'm sitting there drinking coffee, and I'm just watching the construction, and a guy got ran over from the waist up.
That's
I'll never
oof.
get that out of my head. So anyway, so please join us tomorrow for Karen Reed. You can listen whenever, but
I'll
you
do
will
it
be with us in
on
spirit.
Saturday. But I'm looking. Speaking of feds and cooperating, whenever the next hearing for Parwell is in the Fed court, they have pushed it and pushed it, and
They-
I don't remember when he was in the court last time. The Sandra Birchmore case.
Oh, Sandra Birchmore.
Yeah. Word on the street is he flipped. And the only
Proctor
reason
flipped?
no, not Proctor, the Sandra Birchmore guy.
Okay. Okay.
And the fact that they are pushing the hearing date, and they have pushed it for months, and he has not waived the speedy trial thingy or whatever it's called. I mean, it says like he did. I mean, and the fact that, speaking of that, Norfolk DA has everything Feds has, and they're not bringing charges. Why? I have one question with one word.
Let's
Why?
just handle one case at a time.
Okay,
Would be
but
the mentality.
yeah, but no, the
Canton,
reason why I'm
I'll
saying
be
this,
honest,
the
Canton's
reason why I'm
jurisdictional system cannot handle both at the same time. It
no,
will destroy the city, the infrastructure, everything. They can't do it.
but why I'm mentioning this is, if that's true, and the fact that they're just pushing the hearing date is true, and he flipped, that may be the reason why Feds are saying, "Oh, we are done."
That's true too. We'll see. Thank you so much for joining me, Angela. I appreciate,
Thank
I
you.
love you. I bless you. I thank you. Good luck on your test. I know you'll do fabulous. You always do. And
Yes.
look forward to seeing you this weekend or maybe on Friday or whatever. Instant
I have
message me.
plans Friday, so after the exam, I am going out to dinner with friends. So I don't know when
Well,
I'll be.
we'll be doing our live Sunday night, hopefully. I took a
Yes.
break this week. I had no
And
sleep
my
this
new
week.
course starts on Monday, and it's a mandatory attendance, so I don't think I will be able to join you on Sunday, which
That's
is,
okay. Just hope you watch. Keep up.
yes,
We'll keep up
I
with
will.
you. We'll keep up definitely in Discord.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bless you. Thank you for so much. Okay, everybody, I'm going to wrap it up for now. I got to get ready for something. Y'all, thank you for joining. We will not be this long every time we do this, but I want to start doing a weekend preview and a weekend review. And so we'll be doing that. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. We're going to do the quick giveaway before we leave, drawing for the entry for the giveaway before we leave. That's not what I wanted. Present, share screen, giveaway. Come on, take it. Thank you. And welcome, Amy. You made it. One more drawing. Thank you, Amy, so much. You were awesome. You are in for the end of the month drawing an entry for Dawn. You are too. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. I bless you. Y'all have an amazing day. I'll see you here soon. Until then, thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. I hope you have an awesome day. Till next time, take care.